The gentleman doesn't have any time to yield back. Mr. Fry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to yield to
I yield it nonetheless.
I'm going to yield to the chairman here in a second, but I think this is actually a remarkable hearing, what I've witnessed today, both from the sheriff and the Commonwealth's attorney. The inability or the unwillingness to prosecute crimes that are committed in your jurisdiction, I think, is almost a fireable offense, and I hope that the good people of Virginia remove you from office. Criminals are back out on the streets in Fairfax County because you want to virtue signal public safety, and you're making communities less safe. In fact, we have a bill called Logan's Law. You would be a poster child, because I bet if we stacked up your plea deals and your drop charges against other real prosecutors in the country, what it would show is that you're actually operating like a public defender and not a prosecutor. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield you the balance of my time.
I appreciate the gentleman yielding. Mr. Attorney General, let me ask you a few things here. Well, first of all, in your distinguished career, Attorney General, I think you were in the Assembly before that, but before all that, you were a prosecutor yourself. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And is it a good thing if the law enforcement people aren't getting along with the prosecutor? I mean, normally it's better if they get along and they're working together to keep the bad guys off the street and protect the community,
no question. Right? It's a cooperative arrangement.
Yeah, and in your time as a prosecutor, I doubt, maybe you did, but I doubt it, your distinguished career, that you ever had your chief law enforcement in whatever jurisdiction you were prosecutor. I doubt if you ever had them say, it's shameful the way this prosecutor is not prosecuting. Did that ever happen to you, Mr. Attorney General?
No, we never had what happened with the Fairfax police using chief said. What bothers me about this case is the fact that this absolutely could have been prevented. Stephanie Minter should be alive right now, and she's not because Steve Descano's office chose to release him back in the public. No, that's never happened in my career.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen in most places where you got a prosecutor who works with law enforcement to keep the bad guys off the street. Now let's get back to this policy issue that Mr. Descano was talking about. He says what he said to the voters when he was running for the job, that doesn't really count. I got an official policy. What I said to the voters, no, don't forget that. Frankly, that's what happens in a lot of politics. I actually think it should be just the opposite. Whatever you told the voters, if they elect you, you should do what you said. I think he's doing that. I think he's just trying to wiggle around it now. But here's the policy. Consideration of, this is County of Fairfax.
A routine congressional hearing quickly turned into a heated confrontation as Congressman Jim Jordan questioned Virginian officials over allegations that immigration status may have influenced prosecutorial decisions in Fairfax County. Jordan pressed the Commonwealth's attorney over a written policy directing prosecutors to consider immigration consequences during plea negotiations. Throughout the exchange, he repeatedly demanded evidence showing whether immigration status had ever affected charging decisions or plea agreements.
And sentencing, authorizing signature, Steve Descano. And here's what it says on point 14, Mr. Attorney General. Consideration of immigration consequences. Assistant Commonwealth attorneys shall consider. We all know we're in this business of writing laws. May and shall are two different words, right? Shall means you gotta look at this stuff. Now he puts a little other thing, shall consider immigration consequences where possible, where doing so accords with justice, all that stuff. But it's not a may, it's a shall. That is their policy. Do you agree with that, Mr. Attorney General?
That is their policy, yes, Mr. Chairman.
And do you believe that has impacted the decision to let these bad guys on the street who did terrible things? Again, Ms. Minter is beside you.
Just between 2022 and 2024, Mr. Descano dropped the charges on Mr. Jala of trespassing, malicious wounding, theft, petty larceny, trespassing, disorderly conduct, and malicious wounding.
That's like 7 crimes, right?
Correct.
Now, here's what I want to know. And maybe your office, Mr. Descano, is willing to get us this information. Because you said, oh, no, immigration status. My last time you said immigration status had no determination on the decision relative to Mr. Morales-Ortiz. I want to know in cases where it did. What were the cases where you changed the plea agreement or you changed the charging decision that were based on consideration of their immigration status? If you say this doesn't matter anymore, we took it down off the website, I don't really believe what I told the voters. If that's the case, I want to know, did you ever use immigration status as a reason to impact the sentence and the charging decision or a plea agreement?
Well, sir.
Can you get us that information? That's what I'm asking. Just get us that information. I want to know here are the cases where we took into account this individual's immigration status and we changed the charging decision. Can you give us those cases?
Sir, I don't have those cases with me. I'd love to talk to you about the policy
you
because
don't have those
I think
cases
it's been,
with you. Is it a significant number?
Well, sir, if I may dig into the policy, I think it'll be illustrative.
No, I asked you about
Illuminating.
cases. I want to know the number of times you took into their, because here's what everyone sees. You're trying to say it's not the case. Everyone sees you got an American citizen who does a crime. You got an illegal immigrant who does the exact same crime. Your policy seems to me says that this person will get a different sentence or a different charge, different plea agreement than the American citizen. And I want to know if that ever happened.
It absolutely says in the policy in black and white that an immigrant will not get a better outcome than a U.S. citizen. That is in the policy. That's later. You read one half sentence, sir. This is a 2-paragraph policy.
Well, here's what, again, let's go back to the website you took down.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, the gentleman's time has expired.
I think the gentleman,
Mr. Tiffany.
Please, don't forget to like, comment and hit the subscribers button for more political updates.